Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business and let's wake up the football gods here. Wake up, guys, on this Friday morning. Oh my goodness, we are knee deep in another NFL season. Oh my God. Last night was actually a really good game to watch. It was one of those ones that you hate being a Dallas Cowboy fan and having to root for somebody. I hate Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has hurt me so many times that I just don't even want to think about it. And he hurted me again last night. So close to taking out the Eagles. But now the Eagles have hope. Carson Wentz, okay? So I don't know if we call this a game winning, or excuse me, a career defining victory for him or not, with 3 touchdowns and 160 yards. But it was big for them because this, I honestly will say, was a must win situation. And that's one of the things when you start looking and trying to figure out what team is going to win, you got to put desperation into that equation. It has to, if it's a must-win situation, even though they're on the road where the chances are of winning in Lambeau Field, that team knew it cannot go down to 1-3. It cannot afford to lose another one in the conference because they're already looking up at everybody else, and they have a very, very tough stretch. That would have been almost a season-ending loss. The Packers, of course, well, they're in a better position at 3-1 than, of course, the Eagles would be. What is amazing is a lot of times I say stuff and I don't even pay attention to what I say or follow through on it. Because what I always say is don't get too excited or too upset by what you see in September. Because the real teams don't rear their heads and really until October. Now, we've heard so many, the talking heads out there talking about how great one team is and this team is and their Super Bowl caliber. But you have to look at the situations, the teams that they face. Also, too, have they gotten their footing? Have they lost some players and things like that? And see, we were told, the Green Bay Packers, oh my God, the Green Bay Packers, they're an incredible team. They've got it all together. They've got an incredible defense. And once Aaron Rodgers gets there, you know that they are a Super Bowl favorite. But I didn't pay that much attention to their defense. Yeah, their defense did really well the first 3 games. But they played the Chicago Bears, which you can't look at them and say they're an offensive juggernaut. They played Denver. Denver, come on. Denver. And I forgot the other team. What's the other team that they ended up beating? But again, the Vikings. The Vikings aren't doing jack with Kirk Cousins. So as you look at this, you say, yeah, their defense played well against teams that aren't offensive opponents. They aren't good at doing anything on the offense. And that showed last night because they could not stop the run. And if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you got to be thinking all day. Tony Pollard, Zeke Elliott, we're going to be running all day against that defense. The other fatal flaw for the Green Bay Packers is they cannot run the football. They cannot. When Aaron Rodgers is throwing for over 400 yards and then still having to rush for 40 yards and leads rushing for the team, there's a problem. You saw what happens when they got down into the red zone. 1 yard line, can't punch it in. They could not score because they have no freaking running game. And contrary to what everybody tells you that, of course, if you have a great quarterback, he can put a team on his back and will them to win. He threw for over 400 yards. He got them down the red zone. But it's not enough. It's about a team being around them. And the Eagles, well, we know about the Eagles. As much as we're told that, you've got a franchise quarterback that can put people on their back. The reality is if the Eagles do not run the ball well, they don't win. And that was more evident last night. Carson Wentz was, by definition, a dink and dunker. But because they were able to run the ball and control the clock, they were able to continue to keep drives going. So you look at both of these teams, and again, the Eagles' defense, whew, man, that's not a Super Bowl caliber defense. I think that both of these teams were overrated. But then again, it's still September. So you'll see these teams evolve, maybe get better, maybe get worse. Who knows? When you think about where we were last year at 3-5 the first half of the season, we turned it on and went 7-1. So it's still early, and understand it is a week-to-week league in the NFL. But here's the thing. That game helped and hurt us last night, the outcome. It helped because you now look at it and say, okay, Green Bay now has a loss. That's good. So that ends up, if you're looking and projecting down the road of hypotheticals of, playoff seeding, if we make it that far, you don't want Green Bay to be 4-0, 5-0, and so on. You want them to have some losses as well. So that's one of the unbeatens, which means that, of course, we got to take care of business ourselves. So the Eagles kind of did us a favor by taking care of the Packers. But on retrospect, well, that means the Eagles are still somebody to reckon with because, well, they're right behind us. And if we lose to New Orleans, well, we're 3-1, they're 2-2, just a game behind. And when we play each other, it's really important. So we want to go to New Orleans and get that victory. I'm going to break down that game a lot more later on. And, of course, tonight on our live stream, we'll definitely be talking about that in depth as well as we get ready for that Sunday night showdown. And, again, this is one of those ones that statistically, if you look at the numbers, the Saints' defense isn't ranked that high. But understand that defense has played some great teams. You're talking about playing the Rams. You're talking about playing the Saints. You've been playing some of the better teams in the NFL. And they've been playing without having their quarterback, Drew Brees. But for them to go up to the Pacific Northwest, to Seattle, and end up winning, although they gave up 400 yards to Russell Wilson, a lot of that was garbage time, it's more of a bend, don't break defense. And they are physical. They will hit you. Demario Davis will knock your head off if you're not ready for it. So don't think that this game is going to be just a pushover, because it will not be. It will be the real deal as far as playing. And it's a game that we really, really want to have. It's not must win. It won't kill us if we lose it. But things look a lot better starting out 4-0, getting another win in the conference against one of the teams that you hopefully are looking to be seeded against in the playoffs, than it does if you lose it. So how do the Dallas Cowboys win this one? Well, we need to go back to just football. Physical football. You have some teams that are kind of a finesse team. This game needs to be put the women and children to bed. We're going to knock you out, flat out. That's what they need to do. They need to take that big offensive line, pound the ball with Zeke and Tony Pollard, play action to death, and control the clock. Wear out that defense and try and get a win. Because in the Mercedes Dome, it's almost as loud as it is in Seattle. So if you're doing a lot of razzle-dazzle, you're doing a lot of calls and stuff at the line, you're not going to hear it. But if you can just start pounding that rock, it's going to open up everything else. So I want to play this clip here from Speak for Yourself about our quarterback, Dak Prescott. It seems that our contract talks, of course, have kind of stalled a bit. The Dallas Cowboys want to lock up Dak for a long, long term. Dak's looking at it being a shorter window. And so somewhere, hopefully, they'll meet in the middle and everybody will be happy. But Dak is rolling the dice, and thus far, he is coming out ahead.
Why isn't Dak's deal done yet?
You don't know that answer?
Uh-uh.
He's still adding commas to that damn number. He like, ooh, y'all done messed up now. Woo! Dak is in a beautiful position. His floor is Carson Wentz. If I have a horrible year, I'm making 32 and a half with Carson Wentz. Trust me. And if I ball out, Russell Wilson, who? Russell Wilson down there doing what? I am the highest paid by a wide margin. I tell you why. One, everyone out there saying, but what if he gets hurt? Dude already had that Lloyd's of London insurance policy, baby. I'm going to get that money regardless. If I go out there and put up what I've been doing right now, it's going to turn into something that we've never seen before. It's worth the roll of the dice for Dak Prescott. And I'm going to give you some numbers for those who still don't believe me, because not only am I Dak's agent, my name is Todd France. And right now, look at these numbers in which Dak Prescott is sandwiched between all time, because he just qualified now. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees, all-time NFL highest career passing ratings. Hello. Do you understand what 40 million looks like? Dak does, and that's why Dak is playing this out. It's not slowed down. It's just like, I'm going to wait and get what's deserved, and it's coming, 40 mil.
Listen, why is he not done? Yeah, I can't argue any of that. Why is he not done is because they didn't get him done. Like, at what point did you not realize that he was going to be your quarterback based upon the way you built your team? Because he completed 67% of his passes his rookie year. They went 13-3, 62, almost 63% of his passes his second year, 9-7. They were 10-6 last year, 67% of his passes. Why are you waiting? Could you have gotten him done for $20, $21 million? I mean, he came out as a third rounder, fourth rounder.
Yeah.
He didn't, like, in NFL parlance, he made no money, right?
Right.
So if you're going to come give him life-changing money last year at this time, when you already knew what he was, like, but no, you shuffled your feet. Here's the problem with that, too. When you shuffle your feet like this in the NFL, one, it ends up costing you 10 times more money, and two, you didn't do right by a player who's done right by you in your own locker room.
They're about to do right, those things.
Ooh, they're going to do right.
Well, they're going to have to, but you know what doing right's going to do? It's going to cost them about double what it would have cost.
You think Jerry cares? I think Jerry's happy that again, if Jerry's going to make this
then why is it slowing down?
Well, I'm about to tell you, but go ahead.
Okay.
I'm about to tell you.
Because they're not going to pay him.
I think I get everybody's attention.
Yeah.
I get everybody's attention with that.
Yeah.
Look, what's the rush? I mean, really, what is the big rush? Dak's going to get paid either way. He's going to make 35, he'll make 40. The big thing is that he plays for the Dallas Cowboys. You know, Dak is on a rookie contract. He's making probably $10 to $15 million off the field now in commercial. Being a Dallas Cowboy has value. Let's say this is his second contract. Well, he got his first, his rookie, and then it's his second contract. When Dak is still playing on that fourth contract, Ezekiel Elliott will be in Cabo for real, not coming back. So that's telling you that this is going to be their guy. He's going to be their quarterback of the future. You look at Tony Romo, who never won a Super Bowl, but Tony's doing fine. Cowboys love him. Dak, who's never won a Super Bowl but has the team and possibly can win a Super Bowl, for sure take him to the playoffs and win. So being a Cowboy has a lot of value, but most definitely they'll get this deal done.
I think the deal's done. I really do. And I think that it's at such a high number that they want to wait. They want to wait and announce this to me the bye week. Because when they come out with this number and it starts with a 4, they don't want the news story that goes along with it while they're off and rolling 3-0 and everybody coming in, my God, Dak's the highest paid guy, and everybody answering those questions. I think the deal's done. I think it's done at 40, and I think they're going to wait until the bye week. I think they have it in week 8, and that's when they'll announce it, if it can hold that long. I got to tip my hat to Dak, Todd France. I sat here all summer mocking them and thinking they blew it. They are cashing a lottery ticket like you wouldn't believe, and I think it's already cashed. And my point to you, Stink, was like, I think Jerry Jones is so desperate for a Super Bowl and so desperate to find his next franchise quarterback, because he got no credit for anything that happened the first Dallas dynasty. That was all Jimmy Johnson, the Herschel Walker trade, Troy, everybody but Jerry got credit. Dak is his baby. And so if Dak gets 40 and gets overpaid or gets more money, it costs him more money on the back end, that's all just a credit to Jerry.
I have to push back on that. Beautiful way of looking at this.
Yeah.
The journalist in you was all out. But a contract until it's executed is not
done.
effective. That means, and the way that they've been doing their extensions have been 4 years. So 4, 160, 5, 200. I love my insurance policy, but I need that executed. And then once that's executed, can't hide that. That's the problem I think is not done. Maybe, look.
Okay, enough of Marcellus Wiley. Okay, so that's kind of interesting to see how people have changed in the course of a month, because literally Jabba the Hutt has been trashing Dak Prescott all offseason. But, it's only been 3 games. So, again, as I always say in September, you don't really know what you have until later in October. That's when the real teams start rearing your heads. You always have some teams that come out like Jackrabbits that look great and everything else. You think that they're an odds-on Super Bowl favorite, and they end up peaking too soon. Hopefully that is not our Dallas Cowboys. But in the Dallas Cowboys case, what I will say is having youth on their side goes a long way, because when you're a young team, you recover faster. You don't get those nagging injuries like you do with older teams. That's one of the Achilles heels of the Philadelphia Eagles, and I said that all offseason. Because they are such a veteran team, you have guys that just seem to get nicked up, and it prolongs for a long length of time. We're looking at Michael Gallup being back sooner than later, recovering from surgery. You look at a guy like Xavier Woods, who looks like he's only going to end up missing 1 game because that youth is on their side. If they were older players, it's going to be closer to that 4 to 6 window that you're talking about. And relatively, this team has been healthy, and this team has depth. So those things all help you in the long run. Time will tell if it really does or not. So we'll have to wait and see. But as always, friends, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. I'll see you guys soon.